Hello, welcome to Three Crows Runes. My name is Jen. Let's do some rune readings. Today, we're doing something pretty special. We have some beautiful Spirit of the Wheel cards, which have to do with how we're all connected and all that good stuff. They're meditation cards, so I'm going to get you to have a good look at these cards and see which one of them calls to you. Card number 1, card number 2, or card number 3. I will put the timestamps in the description, and you can go to the card that called to you and see what the card has to say to you, and also what the runes have to say to what the card had to say. And I will see you there. Bye! Hello, card number 1 people. So let's have a look at what the card from the Spirit of the Wheel meditation deck has to say to you. So this card is the Freeze Up Moon, and it has to do with identity, self-discovery, and vulnerability. It's just such a beautiful deck. It's a beautiful deck. So let's see what the runes have to say about this. To add to this, I'm going to be using the Birch runes today. They're one of my favorite sets. I'm going to lay out one that's basically the central issue. I'm going to lay out another that is what led up to it, what is going to help you with it, what is not going to help you with it, and what your next step on the path is going to be. As you can see, I've brought out my beautiful rune cloth as well. I'm doing the reading on Yggdrasil and Hugin and Munin and a whole bunch of runes. So here we go. Your central issue, and the reason that you got this card, is currently there's a question about your worth, your sense of worth, and also your wealth. This is Fehu. It's the rune of wealth and worth, literally cattle. We do have some bovids in the beautiful buffalo and the or bison on the card. So it has to do with wealth and worth, as well as identity, I suppose, which is what the card is saying is your crucial issue, and what the card's message is for you. So your question is basically about worth and your personal wealth, and this may or may not be money. This may also just be the wealth that you tend to keep yourself feeling enriched. Leading up to this, we have the blank rune. The blank rune it has to do with the unknown. Basically, it's like a blank page. Maybe you've sort of been wafting through life and not really feeling like one thing or another, and now the question has come up, well, okay, well, who am I? And that's basically why the card has come up. It's a time to be still and think about, okay, who am I? And find out who you are, and who you are where you're actually allowing yourself to accept the fact that you're a bit vulnerable, and you want to figure out who you are and accept all of those parts. This actually ties in really well with what helps you here is accepting your vulnerability. We have Nauthiz. It's the rune of need. It is reversed. So the rune of need always has to do with tending your needs. When it's reversed, it has to really, really do with tending your needs. So you really want to focus on finding out what your needs are and tending them. What doesn't help is you're going to be worried about being unhappy. The upper rune and the lower rune are always the balance. This is the antidote to the upper rune, is always the antidote to the lower rune, but the lower rune unfortunately can also override the upper rune if you let it get the upper hand. So if you are thinking about your worth, but then you keep thinking that you're worried about how unhappy you are going to be, then that's actually going to really drag you down. But if that starts to be the case, then just bring yourself back up to, no, I'm tending my needs, I'm acknowledging my needs, and I'm accepting this, and I'm going to move forward with that. Basically, it's a lot of what's making you feel like you're worried about not being as happy as you would like to be. It has to do with emotions. I mean, obviously, your emotions are like weather, and they come and go, and it's something that can really keep things emotionally undulating, where you may sort of feel like you're in a sea. Lagus, a rune of the lake, and also emotion and intuition and heart, and it's in the lowest line. It's basically saying that your emotions are basically up and down. You're worried about, am I going to be unhappy, and am I going to stay unhappy? Well, you won't if you focus really hard, count as reversed, the fire ember that gets into something big like a blaze, except it's reversed, so it's going down to like a honing into a laser. If you give laser focus to your needs and what needs to be done for them, you will be okay, and this will actually help feed into how you are feeling your wealth and worth. What this leads to is a better communication with your inner voice. This is Ansu's, it's the rune of communication and manifestation. It is reversed, and so that's basically going to be your next step. Now you are going to be worried about, and this carries over from this as well, you're going to be worried about whether you're not going to be strong enough and whether even you're going to be healthy enough to do this. But again, if you know, this Uru is reversed, Uru is the wild ox and has to do with strength and health. It's reversed, but it's on the lower line. So again, mostly I'm reading these as worries for the most part. What will help you is just begin this new life that you're doing. This is Barkana. It's the birch tree rune. It has to do with birth and beginnings. Also has to do with your yin identity and your place in the world. We have manas. So basically begin where you want to be in the world at this point when you're listening to your inner voice, and this actually helps you find your place in the world. It helps you feel like you belong more than you did before. So let's see what happened with this. Yeah, so if you start to worry about, am I strong enough? If you start to doubt your strength, you're going to start to not listen to spirit, and spirit is what is Avaz, the horse rune, has to do with movement and spirit. Lowest line, not helping. Your main focus at this point is listening to your inner voice, and if you're keyed into focusing on, first of all, tending your needs from right now, and then just living this beginning and stepping into what you feel your place is in the world and that you belong, then this is going to carry you over. It's not going to bother you so much. And your next step is Gabo. Gabo is the rune of the gift. A gift is always an exchange, an agreement, a decision. You're going to arrive, basically X marks the spot at where you had wanted to be when you started here. So this is, it's not the end of things, but it's your end of your first chapter of moving forward on this new path. So it starts with your self-discovery. You're deciding to stop what you're doing and basically identify, like find out who you are, and tend your needs, focus on what you want to begin and where you want to be in the world, and you will get there. You will get to where you've reached your point of where you wanted to be. So that's pretty cool. I hope that was fun, and I will see you again next time. Bye! Hello, card number 2 people. So let's see what the Spirit of the Wheel card has to say to you. The message is, clarity, spirit path of the East, breakthrough, inner vision, and truth. The East is, of course, where the sun comes up. In other traditions, it has to do with air and basically, beginnings, sunrise, all that good stuff. So that's your message from the card. And let's see what the runes have to say to clarify. I'm using the birch tree runes. These are nice. These are one of my favorite rune sets to work with. I promise I shuffled these. We're just reordering. Aha, there we are. Ones that came from before. That's okay. So I'm laying down the central issue as ties into what the card's message is. What helps, what doesn't help, and what led up to it, and what your next step is. So your central issue here is we have... I should probably move these over a little bit. No, it's good. It's fine. I'll just put my hand here. For balance, symmetrical balance. Your issue is basically you're wanting to make an agreement and a decision. We have Gabo, it's the rune of the gift, it's also an exchange. Maybe it's a one-on-one relationship sort of thing. It has to do with decisions and agreements. There's something that you've basically agreed with yourself upon, at the very least, with yourself. Something started recently. Barkana is the birch tree rune, has to do with beginnings and birth. Also yin identity. So coming from this card where it's basically clarity, you're basically seeing where you want to be at this point. You've had a breakthrough, you've had inner vision, oh my gosh, inner vision, and you're seeing your truth. So something has begun. With this beginning comes an agreement that you have with yourself. Basically, something that you've decided that you're going to do or you're going to be. What helps is we have Yira. Yira is the rune of the harvest. Also has to do with time. What helps is that you're actually already seeing the fruits of your labors. From what you've begun here, you're already seeing some good harvest from this. What helps with that is getting in touch with your deepest inner sense of joy, your inner joy, the kind of joy nobody can take from you once you find it. So once you tap into that, this is actually going to illuminate the fruits of your labor that you're getting from what you began based on this moment. What doesn't help is fear of the unknown. We have the blank rune. It's a recent addition to the Futhark, but it's useful in rune readings. Blank rune is the unknown. In the lower line, it's fear of the unknown, and also fear of burnout. I think we've got the sun. So we low the sun. In the lowest line, I would say either fear of burnout or fear of overwhelm. But mostly I'm thinking burnout because this is source energy. So you're worried about these things. You're worried about the unknown. You're worried about your source energy, how much you have. Try not to worry about that. Bring yourself back up to focusing on your deepest inner joy. And this will, as I said, illuminate the fruits of your labors, what's already resulting from this thing you began. Now you're coming up to a challenge. We have Thurizaz. Thurizaz is the rune of the gateway, the thorn, the giant, and it is a challenge always. It is upright, which means there's nothing really blocking you from it except psychologically. So you could actually just step through this, but it's still a challenge, and you're going to have to brave up to do it. But you get to this point where you're focused on your inner joy, you're seeing these things that are carrying you forward, that are the results of it, and you go over to Raida, which is the riding rune. It's the journey rune. So you've embarked. The embarking on this journey will actually carry you through the threshold, through the gateway. What doesn't help is you're a little bit worried about support. You're a little bit worried about what support you have, whether you are going to have the support and protection that you need. This is Algies. It's the rune of the elk. What we in North America call a moose, and it's basically your worry at this point. But try not to worry about that. Focus on the journey. The journey will carry you through the gateway, and you will forget your worries while you're journeying. What this leads to is a stronger connection with your heart. This is Lagus. It's the rune of the lake. Emotion, intuition, and it's basically you're going to connect with your heart on this journey, which is really, it looks like this is the sort of thing that it's talking about anyway in the card, where something has begun. You've made this decision, you're facing this challenge, but you get over the challenge by enjoying, tapping into your inner joy, enjoying the fruits of your labors, focusing on the journey, and here you are in a place much more heart-centered, which is only a good thing. And that's your messages from the card and runes. I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, card number 3. So this is very exciting. It's to see what your message is from the cards. Let's waste no more time and let's have a look. Ooh, Stone of Self. Inner power, true self, and potential. So that's your message from the card to meditate upon. Let's see what the runes have to say to clarify. I'm using the Birch Tree runes today. One of my favorite rune sets. They're very communicative for me, I find. Your birch may vary. So what I'm doing now is I'm laying out central issue, what led up to it, what helps, what doesn't help, and what your next step on the path is going to be. Doo-dee-doo-dee-doo. There we go. So your central issue here is represented by Yira. Yira is the rune of the harvest, literally the year. It has to do with the harvest, but it also has to do with time. So you're sort of concerned about not only what you've been bringing forward and what you're trying to bring forward into the world, but also how much time has passed already and how much time there is left. Leading up to this, we have Manaz. Manaz is the rune of humanity and your place in it. So you're sort of feeling like you don't want to leave without leaving something good. So you're sort of focusing on your potential, which is what this is basically talking about. It's like, here I am in the world, but who am I in the world? So looking for your true self. So here we are with this central issue focus on what can I bring through, how is it coming through, like how is it going, and how much time do I have. What helps is represented here by Ingvaz. Ingvaz is Ing's rune. Ing is another name for Frey, and Frey is the fertility god. The rune has to do with, blank rune again. The rune has to do with active creation. So you're actually like actively creating something. What helps that is really opening up to the unknown, to the divine. Your divine may vary, but open up to divine energies. Let that flow in and let that inform what you're creating. What doesn't help, we have Sovilo. Sovilo is the sun. It has to do with source energy, and we have Ansus, the rune of communication. So I'm going to read this as, first of all, you're worried about burnout. You're worried, do I have enough energy to bring into the world what I want to bring into the world? At the same time, you're sort of worried about manifesting, communication and manifestation. So you're worried about the manifestation and your ability to manifest through what source energy you have to bring these things into the world, your harvest and your creations. All the energy you need is going to come through to you if you open up to the divine energy, whatever your divine forces are, whatever you feel that is, whether it's a deity or higher self or nature or just the energy in the universe. Open up to that. Allow it to flow through you. This will help you with your creation and bringing through into the world what you want to harvest. What this next step is, what your next step is at that point, is we have Algiz. Algiz is the rune of the elk. It has to do with communication. Oh no, this is communication and manifestation. Sorry, I was looking at Ansus. It has to do with protection and support. You will actually feel very protected and supported in what you're doing after this step. You'll be like, okay, great. To the point where you are going to feel okay to have a standstill moment. This is Isa. It's the rune of ice. It has to do with standstill, stillness, frozen, but also with clarity. So you're going to work really hard on bringing things through, on creating things, and you're going to have a moment where you're going to feel very supported. This actually will support you. And you'll be able to stand back and have a moment of clarity and really feel that. And that's what's going to help you in this moment. What doesn't help is you're going to want to keep pushing because you've been working really hard here. It's the momentum thing. Stopping still at this step where you actually feel supported enough that you can is going to feel like, the momentum. You want to keep up with the momentum. You're worried about that. Try not to worry about that. You've earned this moment of clarity. You've earned this moment of stillness. So yeah, and again, what this leads to is you won't feel like you have to fight so much anymore. You will have brought something through. You will be satisfied with it. Maybe not permanently, but it's the whole ebb and flow of things. You can't only breathe in. You can't only breathe out. You have to breathe in and then breathe out. And so you've done the yang stuff here. This is sort of the between part where you're stopping. And then this is going to be like your field laying fallow for a little bit. You're going to lay down your sword. Oh, sorry, Tyr. Tivaz, Tyr's rune. He's the warrior god. It's reversed. So it's on the path line. You're laying down your sword. You're going to tend to your inner duties at this point before turning it back outward and bringing more things through. And that's normal. So don't worry about that. You still have potential. You still have your inner power. And which is the reminder for when you're worried about your inner power not being enough. You do have that. And you are going to bring through what you want to bring through. And again, I assume, things being cyclic and all that good stuff, spirit of the wheel and all that. And that is your reading. That is your message from the card and the runes. I will see you again next time. Bye!